Hello again, everybody. Dr. Glenn with Infinite Wellness coming back at you with another one of our question and answer series. Had a really good question about some stuff I think we can help clear up, maybe give you some natural alternatives to. So please like and share our videos and question us more if you have more stuff you want to know.
Today it says, what are natural ways to manage menopause?
Excellent. And there are a lot of ways to do this. Let's begin with menopause, okay? Basically, what are we dealing with? A lot of my women will come in, and what they think menopause is bloating and night sweats and irritability and pain in the shoulders and, right? And these are all symptoms of menopause. It's not what it really is. So let's explain what menopause is and then how we address it and how we can treat it naturally. And there are some ways. Chiropractic-wise, not so much. Obviously, staying adjusted makes the body feel good. We ache a little less, but truth be told, chiropractic isn't going to do a lot for menopause. But, however, our other side, a lot of what I do, acupuncture is fantastic because really what menopause is your body going through a hormonal change. As your hormones are changing, oftentimes the balance is not what it should be. So balancing hormones becomes very important throughout menopause. And in fact, we already know this. The medical community has been doing this for years, just in a slightly less healthy way, right? Estrogen begins to decline as we're aging. Estrogen goes down. We look to estrogen replacement therapy. We look to progesterone treatments to make us feel better. And we forget about the whole fact that adding hormones to our body to negate declining hormones creates other issues. In particular, things like osteoporosis, calcium leaching from bones, bone thinning. This is one of the terrible side effects of being on estrogen replacement therapies and things of that nature long term. Now, for real short-term use, we're not talking about anything too severe. If you were on it for 6 months or a year, wouldn't be any big deal, but most women are going through menopause longer than this. Most of them go through this for 4, 5, 6 years sometimes before the body hormonally regulates. And because of all that, the side effects for that long term can make women pretty frustrated and pretty irritable. They don't want to deal with that, and I don't blame them. Men go through some of this kind of stuff too, a whole different subset, but testosterone declines, we start dealing with higher cortisol levels, emotions become a thing that we didn't have for all those years. All of this comes into play. Men's just not as severe, and we don't really look for ways to do anything about it until recently, where now they're giving us testosterone supplementation. Also comes with some very high risks. If you've ever looked at a lot of the bodybuilders from the 80s and 90s, if they're still living, a lot of them have died with heart complications, calcification of arteries, things of this nature. So supplementing hormones for men on a long-term, long-dose basis, not a good idea. So for women, what do we do? Well, like I said, acupuncture is a great way to help balance hormones. I won't get into that in this video. I have another one that explains acupuncture a little better, what meridian therapy is, but there are lots of ways to change energy pathways, blood flow, etc., fluid balances within the abdomen for acupuncture. But the other one, and I do a lot more with this when we talk to my patients, there are ways to mitigate some of the side effects a little easier. And there are some great supplements out there. One of my personal favorites, and I keep it here in office, well, I did till today, I'm out again, but is an herb known as Vitex. Vitex is a fancy treat name, if you want to call it that, internet name, for chasteberry tree. The reason that's so effective, chasteberry tree is very high in what they call phytoestrogens, plant estrogen. Your body does not take plant estrogens in, it does not absorb them and make estrogen for you, that's not how we work. But because they're a very bioidentical hormone, the body believes that there is more estrogen around than there really is, which mitigates a ton of your side effects, even though we're not really altering the body. So things like phytoestrogens, Vitex, and these other herbs are great ways to mitigate some of this stuff. There are also a few others. There are things that we can take for inflammation, obviously, during this phase as estrogen is changing heavily, as other hormones are changing, we end up with a lot more inflammation. And that inflammatory response with age is also something we can work with. And there are great things out there for that. Things like turmeric and these things are all anti-inflammatories, high-dose vitamin C. So all these can give alleviation to some of the physical pain. The phytoestrogens can calm down some of the night sweats and the irritability. They can kind of calm the body. If you're really intense and there's a lot of stress, things like magnesium bring that down. Acupuncture brings that down. So there are great ways for women to manage some of the side effects of going through menopause. What we don't want, and what has been encouraged for too many years, is trying to slow down menopause or stop menopause? Well, obviously, if we do that, it's going to last longer. The body is forcibly going to go through these things anyway. So estrogen replacement therapy, though it's been the gold standard for a very long time, comes with a lot of heavy side effects and isn't really doing anything but prolonging the agony anyway. It's easier to mitigate some of the symptoms and allow the body to go through this quicker, as opposed to just giving it more estrogen and forcing it to stay in a not so rapid decline. But the body is going to win that battle one way or the other. You're going to go through menopause if you live long enough, just like men are going to go through decline in testosterone, etc. We all are changing as we age, and we're all going into between that phase of life where we're, capable of making and having and raising children to, okay, now we're great grandparents. And that's a lot nicer of a phase once we get there, but that transition can be tough. It's a little way you can mitigate some of that. That's some of the natural stuff that's out there. And if you have more questions, please holler at us. I've got a lot of ways that we can do stuff for that. I can teach you more about the acupuncture points that are available, and hopefully we can help you out.